Okay, so I've gotten a couple of requests about this. This is a walk-around of my 1998 Explorer 4-wheel drive. It has the overhead cam V6, the 5-speed automatic transmission, and it is 4-wheel drive. Under the hood, it looks like mostly stock 4-liter overhead cam. The only thing that's different under the hood are just various wiring changes. The engine and transmission are all original, and it has 332,000 miles on it. The only internal work that has ever been done is changing the primary timing chain guides on the overhead cam V6. All the transmission, differentials, transfer case is all original. The only things that have been changed, I think on the diff, were adding carbon fiber clutch packs. Other than that, everything has all just been fluid changes and regular maintenance. Modification wise, in 2021, we added Old Man Emu lifted leaf springs in the back and cranked up the front torsion bars about 1 inch on the stock 235/75 R15 tires. And then after that, in 2022 or late 2021, came adding 31-inch Toyo Open Country AT3 tires. Then in 2023, the torsion bars were further cranked, and we added extended shackles for a little bit more lift in the rear. Potentially the most obvious modification is in the front, which is a winch bumper made by Matt from North Peak 4x4. It's really durable bumper and no complaints. And of course, the Harbor Freight Badlands winch. These headlights are not original. They were Amazon units put on in 2023, I believe. Other than that, Yakima crossbars and a roof basket with a 30-inch light bar, traction boards, and two 50 cal ammo cans on the roof. The ammo cans work well for storing small items, as they are waterproof, stay dry, and as long as you seal them well, you shouldn't really have any water issues over time. I forgot to mention we also have a canopy that comes out. That should be it for all the exterior modifications. Other than that, it is pretty much 90-odd% stock Explorer. On the inside, most of this is all still stock. The only difference is that we swapped the factory premium audio system for the Mach head unit, which has a subwoofer output, so that you can add the stock Mach amplifier and box in the rear to get, I want to say it's an 8-inch sub in the back. Other than that, the door speakers have been converted to Kicker CS series, I believe. Under here are two radios. This is a Uniden P68LTX CB with a 3-foot fire stick that's not currently mounted, but it would go right over here on the hood. In addition, we have a GMRS unit that is all in the mic with a 3 dB gain ghost antenna on the hood right there. Other than that, a couple of switches for the light bars. This is the brown wire mod for the transfer case. Because the BorgWarner 4405s have a 4 auto mode, sometimes if you want to leave it in solely 2-wheel drive, you can do the brown wire mod, so that way you can disable any four-wheel drive activation. So this actually gives you two-wheel drive, and then you can actually have two-wheel drive low range as well. This is helpful if you have front lockers or something like that, but for me this is mainly just for occasional, just having fun in the mud, maybe when you don't quite want four-wheel drive just yet. Other than that, the interior is mostly stock. Let's walk around back here. And what you'll find in the back is the mock subwoofer unit. Other than that, on the interior is just small stuff. These straps are for strapping fishing poles. That way you can strap 1, 2, and then put the front of the pole through the coat hanger. These work well for having 2 poles, and it's a really simple install with no drilling required, no real modification on cutting anything up. It comes in handy for having maybe 2 poles at most on here. Other than that, I just zip tie extra poles up to the rack. Underneath the carpet, we put sound insulation, and as far as the interior goes, I think that's pretty much it. Performance-wise, it's got a Borla Pro XS muffler, and the resonator has been deleted. It's really the only changes. Other than that, this fires up pretty much every time on the first try. Overall, I'd say I'm quite happy with the system. It's pretty quiet at idle within reason. It's just enough to know that it's not stock, but when you jump on it, I can hear it from almost a mile away. So I would say for my use, I'm really happy with the system. The only thing is if you're pulling up a long hill, it has a tendency to drone a lot. I just washed this thing, so I'm not gonna roll the windows down quite yet. But let's take this for a short drive up the road. Relatively quiet, and it rides pretty well considering it's got cranked B-rated torsion bars and lifted leaves in the rear. Handling is okay. It's got some slop in it, but what can be expected for something this old? Brakes are also pretty good, all things considered. They could be a little bit better, but what can I say for its age and the amount of miles on this? Gas mileage wise, I would say between 10 and 15 miles per gallon. I would count on about 10 in the city and 15 if you were to combine. If I do solely highway driving, At 55, I've pushed it to just over 20 before. See, can I do this? Nope, gotta do a 3-point turn. Power-wise, this is more than adequate. It gets up and goes okay. The only time it leaves something to be desired is if you're towing a heavier load, then sometimes it gets a little bit sluggish pulling up hills. But for considering it's a daily driver, tow rig, weekend off-roader, I really have no major complaints. Alright, let's see how this thing does if I step on it just a little bit more. As you can see, this still gets up and moves pretty well considering its age. I really have no complaints about this. It's a solid rig that gets you where you have to be. Cheap and easy to maintain, and parts are plentiful for these. That is a not so short walk around of this 98 Explorer XLT 4-wheel drive. If there's anything else you want to see in more detail, please let me know.